What's up, everybody? Today, we're going on an absolutely insane adventure. I mean, who doesn't love packing a bag and exploring somewhere new, right? We all have that bucket list of dream destinations, beautiful beaches, and incredible cities. But what if I told you there are places on this planet that are the complete opposite of a relaxing vacation? Places so terrifying, so extreme, they're straight out of a horror movie. We're talking about locations around the world that will give you nightmares for weeks. I am not kidding. Some of these spots are so dangerous that just setting foot there is a life-threatening challenge. You will forget your sleep after watching some uncanny attractions. We're going to be looking at places with killer heat, insane heights, deadly animals, and paths so narrow you could fall to your death with one wrong step. This isn't your typical travel vlog. This is a survival guide to the most extreme tourist spots ever. So, buckle up because this is going to be an absolutely wild ride. I've scoured the globe to find the most mind-blowing, heart-pounding, and downright terrifying places people actually pay to visit. Are you ready to see the limits of human adventure and maybe question the sanity of these thrill-seekers? Good, because I can't wait to show you. Here are the top 20 dangerous tourist attractions in the world. Kicking off our list at number 20 is Mount Huashan in China. And guys, this is absolutely insane. Imagine walking on a few rickety wooden planks bolted into the side of a massive 7,000-foot tall mountain. That's the reality here. It's called the Plank Road in the Sky. And it's basically a 2-foot wide path made of old wood with nothing but a chain to hold on to. Below you, just thousands of feet of empty air. People literally clip themselves onto a safety cable and shuffle along this terrifying ledge. It's one of China's 5 sacred mountains, so it attracts pilgrims and tourists, but honestly, you'd need a different kind of faith to step out onto this thing. The sheer vertical drop is enough to make your stomach turn just looking at pictures. There are sections where the planks disappear completely, and you have to use footholds carved directly into the rock face. The entire time you're sharing this narrow path with people coming from the other direction, forcing you to unclip and navigate around each other while hanging off the side of a cliff. It's a test of pure nerve. One mistake, one slip of the foot, and it's game over. This isn't just a hike. Elon's psychological challenge against your most basic survival instincts. Coming in at number 19, we're heading to the USA, to a place with a seriously intimidating name, Death Valley. And let me tell you, it earned that name. This place holds the record for the highest air temperature ever recorded on Earth, a blistering 134 degrees Fahrenheit or 57 degrees Celsius. To put that in perspective, that's hotter than a well-done steak. The heat is so extreme and the air is so dry that your body loses water at an alarming rate. It's said that you can only survive for about 14 hours out here without water. It's not just the heat that will get you. Death Valley is a vast, desolate landscape of salt flats, sand dunes, and rocky canyons. It's incredibly easy to get lost, and if your car breaks down, you're in serious, serious trouble. The ground itself can get so hot it can literally cook your shoes. Despite the name, tourists flock here to see the unique landscape. But the park rangers are constantly rescuing people who underestimate the brutal conditions. Venturing into Death Valley isn't just a trip, it's a battle against the most extreme elements Mother Nature can throw at you. For number 18, we're flying to Norway to check out Trolltunga, or Troll's Tongue. You've probably seen the epic photos online, a massive sliver of rock jutting out horizontally from a mountain, thousands of feet above a stunning blue lake. To get that iconic photo, you have to endure one of the hardest hikes imaginable. We're talking about a grueling 7 to 10 hour round trip through snow, mud, and steep mountain terrain. There are no shortcuts, no easy ways out. You have to be in peak physical condition just to make it there and back. But the real danger isn't just the exhaustion, it's the cliff itself. The ledge is completely natural with no safety railings or barriers. People line up to walk out, to the very tip, for a picture, often in high winds or slippery conditions. Tragically, a young Australian student fell to her death from the ledge a few years ago when she lost her balance. Even with that horrifying accident, thousands of people still make the trek every year, risking it all for that one perfect, heart-stopping photo. It's a beautiful spot, but the danger is very, very real. Alright folks, here we go with Chapter 4, Swimming on the Edge of the World. At number 17, we're taking a dip in what might be the world's most terrifying infinity pool, the Devil's Pool at Victoria Falls, right on the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe. Now during the dry season, the river flow slows down just enough to create a relatively calm pool, right at the edge of one of the largest waterfalls in the world. For a fee, guides will take you out so you can literally swim and peer over the edge of a 355-foot drop. The only thing stopping you from going over is a slippery, submerged rock lip. Just think about that for a second. You're swimming, and just a few feet away, millions of gallons of water are plunging into a massive abyss. The current is still strong, and the rocks are notoriously slippery. It's an adrenaline rush like no other, but it's unbelievably dangerous. Back in 2009, a tour guide tragically fell to his death while trying to rescue a tourist who had slipped. Despite this, the Devil's Pool remains a massively popular attraction, with tourists eager to get a photo of themselves lounging at the edge of a natural wonder that could swallow them whole in an instant. Moving on to Chapter 5, Som ein Purkstam, the Forbidden Stairway to Heaven. For number 16, we're in Hawaii, tackling the Haiku Stairs, better known as the Stairway to Heaven. This is a series of nearly 4,000 metal steps climbing a steep mountain ridge on the island of Oahu. Originally built by the U.S. Navy during World War II to access a radio station, the views from the top are supposed to be absolutely breathtaking, offering a panoramic look at the entire island. But here's the problem. It's been officially closed to the public for over 30 years and is completely illegal to climb. The stairs were heavily damaged by a storm, leaving many sections broken, twisted, and incredibly unstable. There are no repairs being made, so every year, it gets more and more dangerous. Despite the no trespassing signs, a guard posted at the bottom, and the threat of a $1,000 fine, hardcore hikers and thrill seekers still sneak past in the middle of the night to attempt the climb. They face crumbling steps, sheer drop-offs, and the risk of getting caught. It's a forbidden adventure that has become legendary, but it's a legend that could easily end in tragedy. Now, let's dive into Chapter 6, Driving on Death Road. Coming in at number 15 is a place that doesn't hide its danger. North Yungas Road in Bolivia, universally known as Death Road. This is a 40-mile stretch of road that was carved into the side of the Andes Mountains, and for decades, it was the only link between the capital, La Paz, and the Amazon rainforest. The road is incredibly narrow, barely wide enough for one vehicle, yet it had two-way traffic. It has no guardrails, and on one side is a sheer 2,000-foot drop into the jungle below. The conditions are just terrifying. The road is often shrouded in thick fog and rain, turning the dirt path into a muddy, slippery mess. Landslides are common, and vehicles would often have to pass each other on the very brink of the abyss. It's estimated that between 200 and 300 people died on this road every single year, with buses and trucks regularly plunging off the edge. A safer modern road has since been built, but now, Death Road has become a huge attraction for thrill-seeking mountain bikers who pay to ride down its deadly inclines. At number 14, we have a place that seems beautiful and serene on the surface, Yosemite National Park in California. People come from all over the world to see the giant sequoia trees, stunning waterfalls, and iconic granite cliffs like El Capitan and Half Dome. But, don't let the beauty fool you. This wilderness is wild in every sense of the word. On average, 12 to 15 people die in Yosemite every single year, and it's not always from what you'd expect. The park is a magnet for adventurers, and with that comes immense risk. People fall from cliffs while hiking or climbing, get swept away by powerful currents in the rivers, or get caught in sudden rockfalls. The famous Half Dome hike, which requires pulling yourself up the final stretch on steel cables, has seen numerous fatalities. The sheer excitement of being in such a majestic place can cause people to let their guard down, making simple mistakes that turn fatal in the unforgiving wilderness. It's a stark reminder that even the most beautiful places on Earth demand respect and caution. For number 13, we're heading to Spain to walk El Caminito del Rey, or the King's Little Pathway. This walkway was pinned along the steep walls of a narrow gorge in Malaga. It was originally built in the early 1900s to give workers access to a hydroelectric plant, but it quickly fell into disrepair. For decades, the path was a crumbling mess of concrete and exposed steel beams, with huge gaps and entire sections missing. There were absolutely no handrails, and one wrong step meant a 300-foot fall into the river below. For years, it was unofficially known as the world's most dangerous walkway, and it became a rite of passage for thrill seekers and adrenaline junkies from around the globe. They would come with climbing gear to navigate the treacherous, decaying path. After several high-profile deaths, the Spanish government finally shut it down and invested millions in a massive restoration project. Today, a new, much safer path has been built over the old one, but you can still see the terrifying original walkway crumbling right beneath your feet, a chilling reminder of its deadly past. At number 12, we're climbing high into the Swiss Alps to cross the Trift Bridge. This is one of the longest and highest pedestrian suspension bridges in the Alps, stretching over 550 feet long and hanging more than 300 feet above the Trift Glacier's lake. Just looking at it is enough to make your knees weak, honestly. The bridge sways and swings with the wind and the movement of people walking across it, giving you a constant terrifying feeling of instability while you're suspended high in the air. The bridge was originally built in 2004 to allow workers to access a hydroelectric plant after the glacier had melted and no longer provided a path. The first version was apparently even scarier, so they had to replace it in 2009 with a safer design featuring higher handrails and stabilizing cables. Still, getting to the bridge requires a cable car ride and then a tough 90-minute hike. It's a journey that rewards you with incredible views, but only if you can conquer your fear of heights and trust the engineering holding you hundreds of feet above an icy glacial lake. Cracking our top 10 at number 10 is the big one, the ultimate challenge, Mount Everest. Standing at over 29,000 feet, it's the highest point on Earth, and climbing it is a dream for mountaineers everywhere. But honestly, it's also one of the deadliest places you can possibly go. The fatality rate for climbers is around 6.5%, which is, an insanely high number. Hundreds of people have died trying to reach the summit, and many of their bodies remain on the mountain, frozen in time, in what is now known as the death zone. The dangers are relentless. You have avalanches that can wipe out entire teams in an instant, extreme weather that can change without warning, and the constant threat of falls into deep crevasses. Above 26,000 feet in the death zone, the oxygen is so thin that your body literally starts to die. Altitude sickness, frostbite, and exhaustion are almost guaranteed. In recent years, overcrowding has become a huge problem, with inexperienced climbers causing dangerous traffic jams on the final ascent. Reaching the top of the world is an incredible achievement, but it comes at the highest possible price. For number 11, we're trekking through the jungles of Papua New Guinea on the Kokoda and Black Cat trails. These aren't just hiking paths, they're grueling endurance tests through some of the most difficult terrain on the planet. The Kokoda Trail is a 60-mile trek famous for its role in World War II, and it's considered one of the toughest tracks in the world. You're dealing with extreme humidity, torrential rain, and thick energy-sapping mud for days on end. The Black Cat Trail is even more brutal and less traveled, known for its incredibly steep inclines, treacherous river crossings, and the constant threat of disease like malaria. The terrain is hazardous, with slippery rocks, dense jungle, and rickety log bridges. In 2013, a horrific attack on a group of trekkers and their local porters highlighted another danger: the risk of violent crime in these remote areas. Completing these trails is a badge of honor, but it requires pushing your body and mind to their absolute limits in an environment that is constantly working against you. At number 12, we're visiting a place that is literally on fire: Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. This park on the Big Island of Hawaii is home to two of the world's most active volcanoes, Kilauea and Mauna Loa. While it's an incredible opportunity to witness the raw power of the Earth creating new land, it's also unbelievably dangerous. Tourists can get surprisingly close to flowing lava, but the risks go way beyond just getting burned. The air is often filled with toxic volcanic gases, including sulfur dioxide, which can be deadly. The ground itself is unstable. New land formed by lava, known as a lava delta, can collapse into the ocean without warning, taking anyone standing on it along for the ride. The crater edges are also prone to crumbling, and let's not forget the main event: eruptions. Sudden explosive eruptions can hurl massive boulders and hot ash for miles. In 2018, a tour boat was hit by a lava bomb that injured 23 people. It's a place of creation, but that creation process is violent and completely unpredictable. Alright, for number 13, we're back in the Alps, this time to climb Mont Blanc, which is actually the highest peak in Western Europe. Now, it might not be as tall as Everest, but honestly, some folks argue it's even deadlier. An estimated 100 people lose their lives on this mountain every single year, making it, by sheer numbers, the deadliest mountain in the world. Part of the problem is just how accessible the mountain is. A cable car can take you up to a pretty high altitude, which tempts a lot of inexperienced or, ill-equipped hikers to try for the summit. Mont Blanc is, well, a perfect storm of mountain dangers. There are constant risks of avalanches and rockfalls, especially in this heavily trafficked gully that's actually called the Gully of Death. Ice falls from glaciers can happen at any moment, and the weather is just notoriously unpredictable, with storms moving in incredibly fast. So, it's this deadly combination of objective dangers from the mountain itself and the subjective danger of climbers underestimating the challenge. It's a beautiful peak, but it's got a dark reputation as a place that claims lives with shocking regularity. Coming in at number 14, we're diving into Jacob's Well in Texas, and honestly, this one is pure nightmare fuel. On the surface it looks like a beautiful, inviting swimming hole, a perfect spot to cool off on a hot day. But beneath the surface, it's actually the entrance to one of the most dangerous underwater cave systems in the world. The well is a 140-foot deep spring that leads to a labyrinth of chambers. At least a dozen divers have lost their lives exploring its super treacherous passages. The real danger here lies in the complexity of the cave. The third chamber contains a so-called fake exit that has trapped and killed several divers who got disoriented and thought it was the way out. The fourth chamber is a crazy tight squeeze known as the Virgin Cave, where fine silt on the floor can get kicked up, instantly reducing visibility to zero and causing divers to become hopelessly lost. It's now illegal to scuba dive there, but, thrill seekers still try it anyway. It's a beautiful trap, a place that lures you in with clear water and then, refuses to let you go. Gate. This is a spectacular natural arch, the highest of its kind in the world, and honestly, just getting to it is an epic journey in itself. First, you take what's billed as the world's longest passenger cable car ride, a 30-minute trip that climbs over 4,000 feet. Then, you can walk along these glass skywalks that are literally bolted to the side of the cliff. But to actually reach the arch, you have to climb the stairway to heaven, which is a flight of 999 steep, narrow steps leading straight up to the opening. The number 999 is a big deal in Taoism, representing eternity, but man, climbing those steps feels like an eternity of its own. The climb is physically demanding, and on a crowded day, it can be a slow, claustrophobic procession. The sheer angle of the staircase and the drop below are enough to freak out anyone with a fear of heights. And even though it's a well-maintained tourist site, the sheer scale and exposure make it a pretty daunting challenge. It's a pilgrimage that really tests your physical stamina and your nerves as you ascend towards the sky. At number 16, we're visiting a place that honestly looks like it's on another planet, the Danakil Desert in Ethiopia. This is one of the lowest, driest, and hottest places on Earth, and it's often called the gateway to hell. The landscape is just surreal, filled with bubbling lava lakes, vast salt flats, and acidic hot springs that paint the ground in these vivid, toxic shades of yellow, green, and orange. The air itself is dangerous, thick with poisonous gases like chlorine and sulfur. Surviving here is a real challenge. Temperatures regularly top 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's a severe lack of oxygen in some areas because of all the volcanic activity. But, the natural dangers aren't the only threat. The desert straddles the border with Eritrea, and the region is known for its political instability and the risk of attacks by bandits. Tourists are actually required to travel with armed guards for protection. It's a place of hostile, alien beauty where, honestly, the very ground you walk on and the air you breathe are trying to kill you. Coming in at number 17, we're heading to Mexico to check out the Cave of Swallows. This isn't your typical cave, it's a gigantic open-air pit cave, basically a massive hole in the ground that's over 1,200 feet deep. That's deep enough to fit the entire Chrysler building inside, which is just wild. The cave gets its name from the thousands of swifts and parakeets that spiral out of the entrance every morning and return in this spectacular vortex every evening. But, for humans, the only way in is straight down. This massive shaft is actually a world-famous destination for base jumpers and extreme rappellers. Base jumpers leap into the blackness, free-falling for several seconds before deploying their parachutes and landing on the cave floor. For them, the biggest risk is hitting the walls on the way down. For those who rappel, it's a long, slow descent into the darkness. Getting back out requires a physically grueling climb up a single rope that can take hours. It's a descent into the Earth's depths that really requires specialized skills and nerves of steel. At number 18, we have a place so dangerous it's completely off limits to everyone. Welcome to Ilha de Queimada Grande, better known as Snake Island, located off the coast of Brazil. This island is home to one of the highest concentrations of venomous snakes anywhere in the world. We're not talking about just any snakes, we're talking about the golden lancehead pit viper, a species whose venom is so potent it can melt human flesh and kill a person in under an hour. Scientists estimate there are between 1 and 5 of these deadly snakes for every square meter of the island. That means anywhere you step, you are just a few feet away from a lethal bite. The Brazilian government has made it completely illegal for anyone to land on the island, with the only exceptions being for a few Navy personnel who maintain a lighthouse and carefully vetted scientific researchers. This is one tourist attraction you will never ever get to see, and for very good reason. It is literally an island of death. For number 19, we are in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas at Hawksbill Crag, also known as Whitaker Point. This is one of the most photographed spots in the state, a stunning rock outcrop that looks like a hawk's beak jutting out over the beautiful Buffalo River Valley. It's a relatively easy hike to get to, which makes it incredibly popular with families, couples, and photographers, especially in the fall when the leaves are changing color. But that accessibility is exactly what makes it so dangerous. The crag itself is a sheer 100-foot drop with absolutely no railings or safety barriers. People get shockingly close to the edge to get that perfect Instagram photo, often sitting or even standing with their backs to the drop. In recent years, there have been several tragic fatalities, including a young woman who fell while trying to take a picture. The desire to capture the beauty of the location often makes people forget the very real danger they're in. It's a deadly combination of a spectacular view and a moment of carelessness. And finally, at number 20, we are in Acadia National Park in Maine on what is often called the most dangerous hike in America, the Precipice Trail. This isn't really a hike, it's more like a non-technical climb straight up the face of Champlain Mountain. The trail is only about a mile long, but it gains 1,000 feet in elevation vertically. To get up, you have to climb exposed iron rungs and ladders bolted directly into the granite cliffs, with sheer drops just inches away. This is not a trail for anyone with a fear of heights. The path is incredibly narrow, and for much of it, it's two-way traffic, meaning you have to squeeze past people going in the opposite direction while clinging to the side of a cliff. The Park Service explicitly warns against attempting it in wet conditions, or if you're not physically fit. In 2012, a 22-year-old woman tragically fell to her death from the trail. It's a short, intense, and incredibly risky climb that pushes the definition of what a trail can be. And that is a wrap on the 20 most dangerous tourist attractions in the world. My heart is still pounding just talking about some of these places. From swimming at the edge of a waterfall to climbing crumbling stairs into the sky, it's absolutely mind-blowing what people will do for a thrill. It really makes you think about the line between adventure and just plain insanity. Which one did you find the scariest attraction? Do you want to visit any of them? Let us know in the comments below. I am genuinely curious to see how many daredevils we have watching. Honestly, a huge thank you for joining me on this crazy virtual tour around the globe. It was an epic one. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comments section. It really helps the channel out more than you know, and we love reading every single one of your comments. Your support means the world to us, and it allows us to keep making these insane videos for you guys. We have so much more wild content coming your way that you are not going to want to miss, I promise you that. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. We post new videos all the time, and you'll be the first to know when a new adventure drops. Until next time, do take care of yourself.